Hey friends, of course it's Thursday afternoon and I'm in my happy place right now, which is in my yard with the chickens out having some yard time. And so I'll just apologize in advance for the roosters and the external noise, but you wanted your questions answered. I wanted some chicken time and had to come down here and do the homework assignment of pulling eggs. And there's nothing like home eggs, and my ladies are still producing, so I'm gonna do some glassing of these to preserve them. So anyway, let's dig right in. I've got some questions to answer that you sent in. Thank you very much. And anything you want to ask, drop it in the comments or send it by DM. I will keep your identity protected because some of the questions y'all ask are pretty intense. And we'll start with the first one. And to set the stage before I give you the question, I want you to consider how real estate is wired. It is the largest financial instrument most people will ever own. It is the biggest amount of money they'll ever deal with. At the same time, it is completely wrapped up in emotion. And by that, I mean, I look at my yard and the emotion I have with my chickens and the fact that my kids come home here after school. And this was where we had to have home school office and everything during the COVID, and where my mom and dad come over to eat and where we relax at the end of the day. I mean, houses are just completely full of emotion. Now on the commercial side, I imagine y'all still have a little bit, maybe not quite as much as we do on the residential side. Land, I find, because often land as a family transfer is emotional as well. Investments can be emotional. It's crazy. So that's to set the stage for what we're dealing with in real estate. And I think it's often overlooked, the way that people make decisions can be so wrapped up in the emotional side of things and not the logical side. And because of that, realtors have to deal with it on the client side as well. So today's question is, hey, Leigh Brown, I'm having trouble dealing with client rejection. How do I learn how to deal with this? When your sellers want to change realtors and put somebody else's sign in the yard, it hurts. So go ahead and acknowledge that there is hurt involved when your sellers need to make a change. Same thing happens with buyers. You have been showing somebody houses for a year and then they decide to go work with somebody else. It just hurts. Now on the 30,000 foot view, it's easy for me to say as somebody over here, it's wonderful for the consumer that we have such a great competitive market. There is a realtor in every zip code and frankly, lots of them. And so the consumer has a lot of choices. That being said, you're not the best choice for everybody. And every buyer and seller is not a good fit for you either. There has to be this moment where you realize that even though the world tells you that you need to be all things to all people, that's not so. That's never been so. And by the same token, there are some clients that don't belong in your business, and it is okay for you to say, we're not aligned. I mean, by that, I'm not talking fair housing classes. I'm talking about things like a buyer that wants to leave blood on the table and is super aggressive, and you're not wired that way. That might not be a good fit. It could be a seller who is wildly unrealistic when it comes to price, and you just aren't willing to put your name on that high of a number because first of all, it's a violation of the code of ethics. But second of all, it's just not who you want to be known as in the market. That's not a good fit. And that's okay. So first of all, please acknowledge that not every buyer and seller is meant to work with you, and you are not meant to say yes to working with them. Now, all of that being said, it's still gonna hurt. It always will. I am 22 years in the business. I have sold thousands of houses, and when I have had a seller make a change, it hurts, and it doesn't matter whose fault it is. When a buyer wants to use somebody else, it hurts. It doesn't matter why. All I can tell you is this. At some point, you have to have a thick skin. At some point, you have to accept that there is a really important four-letter word in real estate. And this is one of the things that I learned from Alexis Boland in Pensacola, Florida, who's probably trained more agents than have ever been in real estate in her 40 plus years. And she's famous for saying this: the best four-letter word in real estate is not sold, it's next. If you will always be future focused, you will realize that some people aren't cut out to work with you. So you got to find the next one. And this even applies when you have a closing and you've sold a property, and yay that you have, but now you're immediately unemployed again, so you've got to find the next client if you want to keep paying your mortgage and taking care of your family. You've got to be thinking about the next step, the next day, and it's not that you always live in the future, because that's its own set of problems, but you have to be able to push through. And I look at that story that makes the rounds, and I heard it from Terry Lynn McNaughton in Fayetteville, Arkansas, who's just an icon in real estate. And Terry Lynn talks about the difference in buffaloes and cows, because buffaloes run into the storm because they know that the storm is moving, and if they move on through it, they'll be done sooner. Cows, however, go away from the storm, and so the storm's always chasing them, and it winds up catching them. So be a buffalo, go towards the storm, and that means if there's a client that doesn't belong with you, let them go sooner rather than later. My dad referred to these as poison clients, and not because they're necessarily evil or you're evil. It's because if they make your stomach hurt when the phone rings, or if you know it's just not a good fit, you've got to let them go before they start hating you and you start hating them, because that's what happens if you stay in an unproductive relationship too long. And all my friends out there that have been in some unproductive relationships, you can say amen in the comments, but real estate's the same way. If something's not working, let it go. And we're going to see a lot of that as the market changes, because right now we have sellers who haven't yet adjusted to the fact the market's moving. We have buyers who have overcorrected to the market. And so until expectations get aligned again, there's going to be some disconnect. You have to be okay with saying to somebody, I can't support the price you want. I can't support the offer you want to make. Use your data. Use your calm, cool, collected, competent, knowledgeable self to help bring them information. And if they won't listen to you, it's okay to allow them the freedom to find another agent. You go home, go to your happy place, hang out with your chickens, hang out with your spouse, your kids, read a book, have an adult beverage, watch Netflix, breathe, and then get back after it. All right, here's question number 2. Hey, Leigh Brown. The roosters agree. Hey, Leigh Brown, I want to thank my business partners for sending me business. What's a good idea for thanking them? All right, so first of all, let's define who business partners are. A lot of realtors call them their vendor list. This is the people who support your real estate business, and you in return support their business. And that could be your landscaper, your pool guy, your contractor, your mortgage lender, inspector, warranty person. Could be anybody who you do business with in the course of doing real estate. I want you to think, though, beyond when they send you a piece of business, how you thank them. I want you to think in terms of the relationship. What do you do to get to know your vendor list and support their business holistically? Not just ask them when you need something or thank them when they do something for you. So it could be as simple as maybe you have some home eggs in your yard. Offer that to your business partners and vendors. And I'm pretty sure all of mine that are watching this are now going to say, Leigh, we want some eggs, except for one of our preferred home inspectors, because they have their own chickens. And so we have to give them other prizes. But Virginia Halter on my team, she's known for baking great pies, and she's done this for years on a Thanksgiving event to thank our vendor partners for the work they do for our clients. So I want you to think about the long-term relationship. How do you cultivate a real relationship that's not just transactional? In January every year, my team and I invite all of our business partners to the office for what we call speed dating day. And that's just a chance for everybody to get a few minutes back in front of my team, share with us what's happening in your business, what specials are you offering, and what are you seeing as far as trends in the marketplace. It also allows my agents to be up to speed, and then we can all support each other. We also let them know we would be so honored to receive a name if they hear of somebody who needs to buy or sell. And I'm not greedy. I know that all of my business partners have a lot of realtors they support, and that's great. I want them to spread the wealth out there, but I also want them to know that we'd love to be on their list of people who can help the people they know that are doing real estate. Now, get back to your specific question of what do you do right now? They gave you a name. Maybe you give them some eggs or some baked goods. Spoiler alert, if you don't cook, please don't give them any baked goods. But think about what they might enjoy. Do they enjoy a book? Give them a book. Do they want to go axe throwing with you, like my inspector went axe throwing with me today? Maybe offer a gift certificate there. There are ways to be personal and thoughtful, and it doesn't always involve a big gift basket. And just for the record, it also means that you thank people at odd times as well. So I will thank somebody if they did something kind for us. Maybe they worked a event with us at Shred Day. We want to make sure that they know they're valued, and we want our clients to know that it's definitely a two-way street. All right, third question, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to be the hot topic for a lot of people. In the United States, swear to goodness, in the United States right now, almost all of our pre-licensing schools are still full. The state licensing exams are still testing people all the time, because when economic climates get wonky, people head for real estate, because as it turns out, a lot of Americans like being in charge of their own destiny, making their own decisions. And the beauty of real estate is that it's a meritocracy. I mean, the harder you work and the more you do to stay out there in the business, the more successful you'll be. It's not about how you were born or where you grew up. It's about the hustle and the determination and the discipline. So that being said, houses are bought and sold in every kind of market conditions. All right, so that's your stage that's been set for question number 3, which says, Leigh Brown, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, but I'm not sure if I should get in a market like this. All right, I'll just tell you this. In every kind of market, houses are bought and sold. I already said it once, I'm gonna say it 1,000 times, because there is a natural level of fear that sinks in when market conditions change. And so you may have to wake up yourself every day and say, houses are bought and sold in every kind of market, houses are bought and sold in every kind of market, and remind yourself of that, because the people who need to sell need to know there's a realtor who believes their house will sell. People who need to buy need to believe there's a realtor out there that also believes they can buy. Because that's the first step to being a great consultant, is believing that A, your services are necessary, but B, your services can actually be fulfilling. Come on now, get your positive attitudes back, y'all. That also means that in this market, just like every other market, realtors will die. Cycle of life, y'all. Realtors will retire. They will decide they don't have the fortitude to go through another rough market. Realtors will quit. They will go find a jobby job. You will find all kinds of transitions are always happening, which means there's always an opening in real estate. Now, who's the opening for? In this kind of a market, you're not going to be an order taker. You are not walking into the conditions we had 2 years ago, where everything was multiple offers and you were just telling people bid whatever you want to bid. The market we're heading into, that we're in right now, requires professional guidance. That means if you're getting into the business, if you want to succeed in this market or any other market, you need a mentor. And that could be the broker whose office you landed in. It could be somebody who takes you to lunch once a month. It could be somebody you met at the association office. It can be anybody in real estate, but somebody out there will answer your questions. And I'll say that the biggest difference maker we're going to see in 2023 as far as brokerage offices is going to be the brokers who lean into their agents and train the heck out of them, and the brokers who say, y'all go figure it out. One of my frustrations in real estate is how many people want to learn real estate by testing it out on their clients instead of dialing into professional classes and coming to their broker and learning and sitting in the car and absorbing the information. There's so much information to be had from people who are the boots on the ground and are practitioners. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to do hard work. The thing I love about real estate the most is that it's a true meritocracy. You don't have to come from a big educational background. You don't have to come from money. You don't have to come from a PhD. I mean, you don't have to come from anything except the school of hard work. I have seen people knock the cover off the ball in real estate because they are disciplined and driven, and they do hard work every single day. And most importantly, they're really honest. They know how to answer hard questions every day, and they do it for the benefit of the person for whom they're working, not just for themselves. Those people can do great in real estate in all market conditions, and maybe that's you. Because when markets change, we see realtors retire. We see realtors die because cycle of life. We see people just give up. But those neighbors that are down the street from you need somebody. Maybe that's you. Now, it's not going to be a bed of roses. Never has been. Wouldn't matter if you go back 2 years into the height of the COVID market. It looked easy on Instagram. It was never an easy market. It was just a different market. So when you're getting in while others are getting out, you got to know that a lot of successful careers are built on people that are willing to do hard work when nobody else is. And if that's you, welcome to real estate. And the rest of y'all that are watching this and you're thinking, well, Leigh Brown, that's me too. Get back to work. Get disciplined, get driven, and remember that the conversations you have can mean somebody else's financial future has a different outcome So treat those conversations with a lot of honor and remember how important you are. I hope you got something out of this, and I'll see you guys next Thursday.